useful. Let me just clarify three things. While the term macroprudential is not new, it goes all the way to the 1970s. The term macroprudential in financial stability terms is very, very different from loan-to-value ratios, capital controls, build-up of capital for banks. That's not exactly what macroprudential regulations look at right now for purposes of financial stability. The context of macroprudential is not to make banks stronger. That's the role of the banking regulator. That's a microprudential issue. The context of macroprudential measures is to make sure that systemic risks do not arise. So even if you change the loan-to-value ratios or raise the capital levels of banks, that by itself will not guarantee ipso facto that systemic risks don't arise simply because of the interaction terms. On the second point about perhaps the system has not taken on enough risk as an indicator of financial stability, one of the more critical lessons of financial stability is size becomes rather irrelevant as a measure. I'll make a simple analogy. Rural banks are about 2% of the entire pie. Yet we devote substantially more of our resources on the rural banking industry because the potential for contagion will always be there. This is the same case with thrift banks. This is the same case with universal and commercial banks. So what you're looking for is not the size of the market. What you're looking for, the size of the risks taken by the market. But you're looking for the channels of risk through which those risks can evolve, commingle, and eventually become larger. A case in point is if anybody still has the chance, they've taken it down already from the internet, but if you do have the chance to somehow look at the balance sheets of Burns Stearns or even Lehman, just prior to the closure, the financial ratios of these firms were solid. They met every prudential regulation that was required of them, and yet they still failed. Lehman actually was still declaring income. Net of all the magic on the books, Lehman was actually still profitable, and it still caused some issues. The third point was the measure of financial development. And here, this is an active area of work. The question here is, to what extent now is there a feedback loop between financial markets and GDP, and from GDP back to financial markets? It's actually an open question, and the econometrics of it can be interpreted one way or the other. Before I left the office, I double-checked. The results actually say it goes one way only, from A to B, but not B to A. I won't tell you which is A and B anymore. But basically, we're working at it simply because the idea is to make sure that whatever those linkages are, they don't become systemic.